The emergency beacon cut through space like a dying scream, its desperate signal reaching the edges of civilized worlds. On the mining colony of Kepler 442b, Governor Tala pressed her scaled hands against the reinforced glass of the command center, watching the horizon with growing dread. The crimson dust storms had ceased 3 days ago, revealing something far worse than any natural disaster. Black ships dotted the landscape like malignant tumors, their hulls gleaming with an oily sheen that seemed to absorb light itself. The Void Reapers had found them, and their reputation preceded them like the stench of death. No colony had ever survived their harvesting operations. They stripped worlds bare, taking not just resources, but every living being to fuel their biomechanical war machines. Any response to our distress call? Tala asked her communications officer, a young human named Jake, who had volunteered for this remote posting to pay off his academy debts. Jake shook his head, his face pale beneath the artificial lighting. The Galactic Defense Corps says they're engaged elsewhere. The Altair Federation claims they can't spare any ships. Even the Trade Alliance has gone silent. He paused, checking his instruments again. Wait, there's something coming through. It's from Earth. Tala's heart sank. Earth was barely considered a second-tier world in galactic politics. Their technology was primitive compared to the great powers, their military untested in serious interstellar conflicts. What could they possibly send that would make a difference against the Void Reapers? Put it through, she said with resignation. A gruff voice crackled over the speakers. Kepler 442b, this is Captain Rex Morrison of the Earth Defense Corps ship. Indomitable, we received your beacon and are en route. It is 6 hours. Hold tight. Jake looked confused. Sir, I'm only reading one ship on approach. A single vessel against an entire Reaper fleet? Tala closed her eyes. They were doomed. Earth had sent one ship to face an armada that had conquered dozens of worlds. It was either madness or ignorance, neither of which would save her people. As the hours crawled by, the Void Reapers began their advance. Their biomechanical constructs emerged from the black ships like nightmares given form. Creatures that had once been sentient beings from 100 different worlds, now twisted into instruments of harvest and destruction. The colonies automated. Defenses, state-of-the-art systems purchased from the Centauri Arms Collective, barely slowed them down. Governor, the Earth ship is dropping out of hyperspace, Jake announced, his voice tight with barely controlled panic. On the main screen, a vessel materialized that defied every expectation. It wasn't sleek like Altair designs, or crystalline like Federation ships. It was blocky, utilitarian, scarred from countless battles, and somehow radiating an aura of absolute determination. Weapon ports dotted its hull like the eyes of some ancient predator, and energy readings suggested power systems that shouldn't have been possible with human technology. This is Captain Morrison to all Void Reaper vessels. The transmission began, broadcast on all frequencies. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system or face the consequences. Tala watched in amazement as the Reaper fleet actually paused. These beings who feared nothing in the galaxy had stopped their advance at the words of a single human captain. The response came swiftly. A massive Reaper dreadnought, easily 10 times the size of the human ship, powered up weapons that could crack planets. The transmission that followed was a harsh, mechanical voice speaking in broken galactic standard. Humans, your reputation precedes you, but one ship cannot stop the harvest. Captain Morrison's reply was delivered with deadly calm. You're right. One ship can't stop you. A pause that seemed to stretch across space itself. Good thing I didn't come alone. The space around Kepler 442b suddenly blazed with light as dozens of human ships materialized from seemingly nowhere. Stealth technology that made them invisible, even at close range, flickered offline, revealing a fleet that dwarfed the Reaper. Armada, Each vessel bore the scars of battle, each crew member aboard having earned their place through trials that would have broken lesser beings. But it wasn't just the ships that made the Reapers hesitate. It was what the ships represented. Humans had a reputation among the stars, whispered in the dark corners of spaceports and trading stations. They were the ones who never surrendered, who turned impossible odds into victories, who looked at overwhelming force and asked not if they could win, but how many enemies they could take down with them. The lead Reaper ship fired first, a beam of concentrated death that should have vaporized the Indomitable. Instead, the human ship's shields flared and held, absorbing energy that would have obliterated most vessels. Morrison's response was immediate and devastating. Weapons that no intelligence agency could identify tore through Reaper armor like paper, sending the massive dreadnought spinning into the void, its biomechanical systems failing in cascades of sparks and organic fluid. What followed wasn't a battle, it was an education. The human fleet moved with precision born of experience, their tactics honed in conflicts that spanned decades. They didn't just fight the Reapers. They dismantled them systematically, turning their own biomechanical constructs against them, exploiting weaknesses that other races had never even recognized. Within 4 hours, the Reaper fleet was nothing but debris and fleeing survivors. The humans made no effort to pursue the retreating ships, content to have delivered their message. Captain Morrison's final transmission to the colony was brief. Governor Tala, your people are safe? A galaxy may not always answer when you call, but Earth remembers its friends. Morrison out. As the human fleet disappeared back into hyperspace, leaving only the grateful colonists and the wreckage of their enemies, Jake turned to his governor with wonder in his eyes. How did they do it? How did they know exactly how to fight beings that have conquered half the sector? Tala smiled, understanding something that many in the galaxy were only beginning to grasp. Because humans don't just fight wars, Jake. They win them. And once you've earned that reputation, sometimes the mere threat of your arrival is enough to change everything. The beacon fell silent, its purpose fulfilled. Word would spread quickly through the galactic networks. Earth had come when called, and the impossible had once again become inevitable.